Hi, I'm Ben with IRSTaxRelief.com. This past month or so I've received 2 phone calls and I also got an email this morning from a client. All 3 of them own rental properties and all 3 of them wanted to know what is the difference between a capitalized expense and a repair expense for a rental property. In particular, what can they do to ensure that the IRS will not try and reclassify it as a capitalized expense? Now, let me start out by saying there's nothing you can do to keep the IRS from challenging your deductions. They do it all the time. The IRS wants these expenses to be capitalized and you want them to be classified as repairs. The reason why is if it's a repair, you get to write it off immediately. If it's a capitalized expenditure, you have to write that off over the class life of the asset. Now, a residential rental property is 27 and a half years, so that's quite a long time. A $27,000 deduction, that's going to get you less than $1,000 a year. That's not going to help you much on your taxes. In fact, let me read this email that I got this morning. It says, Ben, in order to ensure the IRS will agree with a particular expenditure in a property be deemed as an expense and not an expenditure that needs to be capitalized, what can be done? Does the invoice or receipt need to be worded in a certain way? Is there a timing of payments perhaps? In particular, we have a property that needs to be painted at a cost of $25,000 and would love to expense it fully this year and not over 27 and a half years. Let me start out by saying that the cost has nothing to do with the repair being classified as a repair expense or a capitalized expenditure, although large expenses are generally capital expenditures, but that shouldn't be what comes to your mind when you decide if it should be capitalized or repair expense. The IRS will ask 2 questions. In fact, when I was an IRS agent, the 2 questions that I was trained to ask are, 1, does it substantially improve the life of the home, the rental property that you have? And 2, does it substantially increase the value of the property? Or does it change the use that you originally intended? So let's go into a few examples and let's talk about those. Now, if you repair a wall in a rental property, does that prolong the life or change the use or substantially increase the value of the property? No, it doesn't. What you're doing by painting it is you're restoring it back to the original condition. So that would be a repair expense. Now, there's always exceptions to the rule, and I just want to mention one thing very quickly. If you are doing a remodel project, all of those expenses, whether they would initially be repair or capitalized, are all going to be pulled into one category and they're going to be capitalized. So resist the urge when you're in there painting the wall to go ahead and replace the floors and get new granite countertops and do all these remodels, because if you do that, you will no longer have a repair expense for the painting. You have to spread everything out over 27 and a half years. So be careful of that. Now, if there's a windstorm and shingles get blown off your roof, and you have a repairman come out and repair that will be a repair expense. If your roof is 25 years old and you replace the whole roof, that will be a capital expenditure. Why? Because for one, it will definitely significantly prolong the useful life. You now have a 40-year roof, and it will also increase the value of your home. Painting the walls, yeah, your house might sell first, but no one's going to appraise it for a higher value because you have a brand new paint job in your home. Your HVAC goes out on your rental property. The repairman comes out and he says, you know what, you need a new motor in this, so we're going to replace the motor. That could be classified as a repair because it's not going to significantly enhance the life of it. Now, if he replaces the entire unit, that will be a capitalized expenditure. Don't focus on the cost, but focus on those criteria when you're deciding if it should be a capitalized expenditure or repair expense. So remember, the 2 questions is, does it significantly improve the value of the property and does it significantly increase the life? Or are you just restoring it back to the original condition? If there's anything particular that you want to know, feel free to email us, call us, or comment on this video and we'll try to answer that for you.